at this. The doctors are denying me any kind of treatment for stab wounds, being stabbed, puncture wounds all over my body, like 50 of them. Okay, so here's what happened. This girl was stabbing me. She stole from me. She was stabbing me in my sleep, unbeknownst to me. And she somehow the cops got called as she was trying to steal from me, and she was trying to take my property. And they got this cop to show up, this female cop, I don't know, out of the blue. Never seen anything like it in my life. This female cop just shows up like it's all set up or something. Like she showed up way too fast, and this is like a setup, right? Anyways, I don't know. The courts didn't think so, because they were gonna put me in jail for getting robbed on the streets of Seattle. They were gonna throw me in jail for trying to protect my property as I was being robbed by some girl. Okay. Now, I had a plea deal, okay? Plea deal. I needed mental health. They wouldn't let me into mental health. The judge did that for me. I've been trying to get into mental health, and they wouldn't let me. Literally, like, you try to go in mental health, you're not approved. You can't have mental health services in Seattle unless we say so. And so I had a judge tell them, we say so, and then I was able to walk into mental health. And I had a mental health caseworker. I had a probation for a year caseworker. I had a probation officer. I had, you know, all these people who were supposed to keep an eye on me and make sure nothing, you know, bad happened. And, well, they kept stabbing me. And no one could seem to this day, no one can figure it out. Why Jason has stab wounds all over his body, and why the doctors won't give him any treatment. I had a doctor in Seattle who was familiar with this condition. She seemed to be on their side. She was going to give me as much permethrin lotion, which was like once a week. Get like a bottle of permethrin. A little, you know, like 3-gram bottle. I don't know how much they are, even 5 grams. And that's it. That's all you get for these infected stab wounds from some kind of infection that they're passing around in Seattle so bad that it's literally endemically infected. All the bugs, the lice, they have lice there that have this infection in them all the time. That's called an endemic infection, in case you didn't know, as opposed to a pandemic infection where it's not isolated into one community. It's larger than that. A pandemic crosses continents. Anyways, to this day, doctors have been stabbing me with needles, denying me medication, the permethrin cream, which is the only thing that I found that works so far, more or less. You know, gotta stay clean with Epsom salt. It's all about staying clean, and it's just some soapy, alcohol-y, insecticide paste to put on my wounds, and without it, they spread and they become really painful. And so I've been suffering in pain for like 5 years now with these same stab wounds that no one will admit to what happened, even though, you know, I had her in court. We were in court together in front of a judge. I kept telling my probation officer she was stabbing me in the sleep. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm on the streets. She's coming and she's befriending me, pretending she's my friend, and then she's got a needle full of something to stab me when I'm not looking, when I turn my back. On the street, literally, just run up to me on the street and stab me in the back in the middle of downtown Seattle on 3rd and James. Got it? Just stab you and nobody cares. Nobody does nothing. Cops won't make a report. They gave me a watch. I took it down to the police station. It was causing an infection. There was something leaking out of the watch that was causing the same infection that they were wiping on me. That was causing stuff like this. Do you see that? That whole, they wiped it on my nose right here, right here. You can see it if you look closely. There's literally a divot in my nose. Oh, and all this, and all this, and all this. They wiped it all over me. Stab wound right there, right here, and matching in my cheeks, in my ears. They stabbed me on the top of my head, basically causing me to be scalped. It's extremely painful over and over again as your skin rots off and peels off from all this infection that they put on me in Seattle, and nobody does anything about it. In fact, they blame me. They've locked me up. They've threatened me. This was already going on beforehand. Threatened to lock me away forever because I got stabbed, because I got hurt, because I got raped. I've been trying to get help for being raped by a rape gang that was in military garb. They were being ordered around by the longest running senator in U.S. history, Robert Cornelius Byrd, and he sucked out my eyeball, and they brutally raped me in a hospital when I was 2, concluding with some adrenochroming, which is where they drain all your blood out so they can finish drinking you later. They weren't done drinking all my blood. These vampires have seemed to have control everything, and you can't do nothing about it. You go to Seattle, you try to talk about it, and people start attacking you, and you get stabbed, and then no one will help you. For a simple stab wound, you go to doctors, hospitals, up and down the West Coast, back to Anchorage and Homer, back to every single hospital I've ever been to, and nobody wants to help me out all of a sudden. All of a sudden, you've contracted an infection, you got stabbed by someone, and now they're not going to help you. Okay? This is what they do. They single you out, they infect you, and then all that medical stuff you think you're getting, it's a joke. Okay? They'll take it away under penalty of, you have to chemically lobotomize yourself constantly, forever, every day, while they forcefully stab you with needles, or else you don't get nothing. And that's what they said. Unless I take everything that they're going to give me, as in needles, shots, they are going to refuse me any permethrin cream, refuse me any antibiotics that I might need, and continue to try to kill me, is what they're doing right at the hospital. These people that you go to, that you pay money to treat you, they are straight up murderers, psychopaths. They're in some kind of political scene where they have Trump derangement syndrome, and if you're a Trump supporter, you are not going to get the same treatment as at these hospitals, at these liberal hospitals, at these Democrat hospitals. You are not going to get the same treatment, and that's illegal. That's what's happening to me. Illegal thing after illegal thing after illegal thing, and it keeps building up, and there's nobody responsible. No president, no authorities who can do anything about it. You can't even use your medical insurance to get any medicine because it's not covered. They won't give you a prescription, okay? I should have a prescription for all the money that I've spent on Nix cream over the counter. I should have had the equivalent of the prescription version, 5% permethrin cream, and antibiotics. And they have been stealing from me this money that should be covered by the medical community, should be paying with my insurance, because I have health care insurance, should cover the cost of my creams for the wounds where I have horrible infections from being stabbed with needles in Seattle. But I can't use my medical insurance. You're letting them rob me blind.